Hi, my name's Mike Hentrick. This is Mia. We're gonna do a video blog for you today. First time I've ever tried it. You may or may not have seen this, but lately on Facebook there's been a couple videos circulating around from naturalnews.com, and the video is pretty striking. It hasn't made any news headlines, but basically what they do in the video is there's this guy and he works in a food lab, and he uses a magnet, and he demonstrates that you can actually crush Wheaties with the magnet, obviously, and then you can take the magnet and you can run it across the little pieces of Wheaties, and you can actually attract pieces of Wheaties with the magnet. And the shocking point about that, I guess, would be, well, should you be able to do that with food? He even goes in with some kind of a high-powered camera or some kind of a microscope or something, points at the different shards of metal that are in there. Basically, the headline of the video is that, you know, there's shards of metal in your Wheaties. And so it was interesting. I watched the video. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And then afterwards, following the comments, I could see some people were like, oh yeah, I knew it all along, and some people were saying, oh, this is a big hoax, this is a big prank, you know, this is a joke, you're just trying to get media attention or something like that. So he actually ended up posting a couple replies, a couple more videos, showing further evidence that what he was doing was not a hoax, and it was real, and you can do this at home. He even says so in the video. Yes, Waldo. And so I thought, you know, there's always going to be reasons to think, oh, it's just a hoax, but why not just try it at home myself? So I went online and I found the magnet that the guy uses in the video, same magnet from Amazon.com, 20 bucks. And I got the same box of Wheaties right here, Adrian Peterson. And I thought, why not try it for myself and see what kind of results I get? And yeah, so here we go. So in the video, he takes a couple flakes of these Wheaties from the store. You can go out and buy these yourself. I can't guarantee you're going to be able to get the ones with Adrian Peterson, but I think they're pretty much the same. A couple flakes of these Wheaties here. And from here, basically what he does is he runs his magnet over the pieces. Nothing's happening. Oh, there we go. Okay. I feel like my hand is shadowing the... if you could take it from this...
It's alright.
It's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, interestingly, you can do the same experiment at home yourself, and you can use this magnet. Like I said, you can buy it on Amazon for $20, and you can run it across Wheaties, and you can pick them up. They basically fly onto the magnet. So one question my wife asked me was, well, maybe it's just because it has a lot of iron in it. You know, there's a lot of foods that have iron in them. Most plant-based foods have some kind of iron in them from the soil. That's actually good. You need iron for your blood. And so the question was that, well, what about other foods that have iron in them? Maybe the magnet will attract the iron in those plants or whatever. And so I thought, well, that's possible, I guess. You know, maybe so. So maybe it's not a big deal that the magnet attracts them. So I thought to myself, why don't I give it a try? So I looked around the house, tried to find some foods that were high in iron, and I ended up with, I found this. We had some of this in the house. This is quinoa. I guess you would call it red quinoa, or brown quinoa. And it's got 20% of your iron in a quarter cup of dry quinoa. The Wheaties has 45% of your iron in 3/4 cup. So if you were to match 3/4 cup of Wheaties with 3/4 cup of quinoa, dry, then you would actually have more iron in the quinoa than in the Wheaties. It's actually more nutrient dense than the Wheaties is. So I thought, oh, that would be a good way to experiment then, because the quinoa actually has more iron in it than the Wheaties does. So then I had this high-tech wooden bowl, and I didn't have a pestle and mortar. I just used this thing to smash up the quinoa into little itty bits. And I try to get as small as possible because I don't want to have it not being attracted to the magnet because of weight, right? I don't want to give a reason for people to think that this is staged or something like that. So anyway, it's pretty ground up. See, I'm going to stick it here. Whoops. There's still some big pieces, but some pieces are very small and fine. So I decided that you can do some kind of a comparison or control here by trying out the quinoa. Like I said, it's more dense in iron than the Kellogg's Wheaties. Did I say Kellogg's? I don't even know if they're made by Kellogg's.
General Mills.
General Mills, sorry. So maybe they'll be attracted by the magnet. And I'm not getting anything. There's more iron in this, but I'm not getting any kind of attraction to the magnet. I can even move the magnet up against the pile here and move it back, and nothing sticks to it. If I do the same thing with the Wheaties...
Do from the other side, Mike.
Whoops. Do it from the other side?
Because you're talking...
Oh yeah. Let's try it from the other side here. I'm actually pulling a whole bunch of the Wheaties back with it. Now, of course, this isn't my video. This is just, I'm just recreating what the other guy did in the video. But, you know, for my peace of mind, I guess, I wanted to be able to know for sure that it worked before I started promoting it on the internet as, wow, this is, you know, it's kind of scary. So, I mean, you know, then it kind of makes you wonder so then it kind of makes you wonder, oh yeah, by the way, and I did the same test on the Rice Chex and on the Cheerios, and I basically found that I had a similar result with these cereals to a somewhat lesser degree. And you know, it makes you wonder, you know, is that really a big deal? Because hey, there's iron in the cereal. In the other videos, he actually shows pictures of the little tiny metal shards. And you know, is that necessarily a bad thing? Because having iron and different fortified nutrients in your food seems to be a common thing that all the major food producers do. Now, I'm not going to draw any conclusions for you, but I don't know where the iron comes from, or any of the nutrients comes from, that they put in Wheaties, or that they put in the Rice Chex to fortify the rice flour, or that they put in the Cheerios. I don't know where those fortified ingredients come from. But it doesn't seem like they come from the same place that is naturally occurring inside the quinoa. Plants absorb nutrients from the soil, and then they chelate the nutrients, and they become bioavailable for us, so that when we eat the plant or the animal that has the nutrients in them, then our body can absorb those nutrients correctly. I don't know if our bodies can absorb these nutrients so well, these fortified nutrients. The fact that they can be magnetically attracted tells me that there's possibility that these are just ground up iron, rock, metal, from iron or ore or something like that. And they stick it in there to satisfy the requirement. I don't know. I mean, that's a scary thought. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if we could get the nutrient that we needed from eating dirt or rocks, then I think that very likely we would have figured that out a long time ago and be doing that. You know, I mean, you definitely wouldn't ever have to worry about nutrition deficiency when you could just go out and eat some dirt from the ground. So, it's possible, and I'm not saying this is the way it is, but it's possible that we are getting, 45% of our iron from this Wheaties that our body is actually not absorbing, or at least maybe part of it. And that, we may think that we're getting a certain amount of nutrition in our diet, or think that we're eating a balanced diet or a wholesome diet, but in reality, we're not. We're not getting the nutrition that our body needs even to perform on a minimal level. And it begs the question, is this really something that we want? And so the whole concept of fortifying food is very, for me, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I don't have a lot of knowledge about chemistry and science, but I am very passionate about health, and I am very concerned about the implications of this, where people are thinking they're getting a certain amount of nutrition from the food. In reality, they're not. We're only getting a part of it. And we all have to make the decision for ourselves. Is nutritionally fortified food better for you than non-nutritionally fortified food? Like just plain white flour without anything added to it? Probably. It's probably better. But is it better for you or equivalent to food that's never been processed to begin with, or minimally processed, and retains the nutrients and the micronutrients that were originally in there by nature? I don't think so. I think that the whole idea of taking out the nutrients and then adding some nutrients back in and thinking that it's equivalent is a little bit foolish. And we don't eat this stuff, but I bought a box just to try this out. I'm not sure what to do with the box after this. I don't want to eat it. So one thing I want to talk about is that there's a lot of controversy about supplements, whether they're good, they're bad. There's always new research coming out about how this supplement or that supplement is helpful for this or such disease, or this supplement or that supplement they thought was helpful, but it's not really. So it's really confusing, the whole thing. And whether you take supplements or not, that's something that you have to decide for yourself. But I do want to bring attention to the fact that when you're eating food like Wheaties, Rice Chex, Cheerios, anything that's fortified, that includes many types of juices, many types of milk, many things are fortified salt, iodized salt. You're actually taking supplements. You're not eating the food in its natural form with the nutrients that are originally in there. You're eating a food that's been stripped of all the nutrition that was originally there, and then it's supplemented with something else from somewhere else. And these kind of experiments like this really, for me, really ask the question, is that something that I really want to do? Is that something that I want to feed myself? Is that something I want to feed my kids? I want them to grow up and be healthy and strong as adults, and I know that a lot of that has to do with how much nutrition they have in the formative years of their life like this. So, me and myself, I don't like to eat foods that are fortified or enriched. But I replace that with nutrient-rich food so that I'm not lacking, and we're not lacking in food just because we're not eating the enriched stuff. If you eat a lot of this kind of food, I would just really encourage you to consider alternatives to these fortified foods, knowing that you may not necessarily be getting the nutrition that you think you're getting. Thank you for watching my video.